Okay, so this is how to write an Atari ST floppy image from a PC. I'm using Windows XP machine right here with a floppy drive to do this. Um, and now according to this Flow image software, it works under Windows XP, Windows 2K, Vista, Windows 7. It almost definitely works under 10. Everything that I've seen works on 7, works on 10 as well. Here's the website to find the Flow image, Flow IMG program. So it's a free program. You download it. And one thing that I do for my floppies is you can see on a high density floppy there's the notch on both sides. I cover one of them up. I don't know if this program in particular is fussy with that, but covering these up makes the computer believe that it's 720K floppy. But of course on Atari, um, Atari can utilize, I believe, 800 or 820K of that because of the differences in how they do the formatting. So we'll go ahead. I've already downloaded the software, and the image files are going to end in ST. So we'll choose one here. The Chaos Engine. Open. Floppy's in the drive. Make sure this says ST here, and we'll just click image to floppy. Now, a few things that I should note is that don't be surprised if a large number of these images do not work. Some of them they're all cracked, so some of the cracks just don't seem to transfer well. And of course, a lot of times you have bad floppies, and sometimes you have the PAL version of games, and they might not work in an ST or an NTSC system. So I get a lot of the same things when I work with Amiga floppies. Amiga are much more difficult to transfer. The PC can't write to them, but don't be surprised if maybe up to even 2 or 3 out of 4 different floppies that you try to write doesn't work. I would say the main reason is it would usually be that you're trying to write a PAL floppy to NTSC, and I have not been able to find any indicator in the image file, any database or anything, or any list of files which singles out NTSC versus PAL. It's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. So when this finishes writing the floppy, basically nothing happens. You just wait for your floppy light to go off. It's off. Nothing really happened here, but it's off, so it's complete. So here we have the Atari. I highly recommend to not use a flat screen TV. The image quality looks great on a CRT. It looks terrible on this. Unfortunately, the area that I have a CRT is just filled to the brim with machines. So this is what we're going to have to do. So it's you put your TV on channel, I believe it's either channel 3 or channel 4. The old school channel. And I'm going to include this bit here in case you don't have one. I have a ton of them. This converts an RF to an RCA. So that just use a single RCA cord. Now here's another thing that you don't want to do for image quality is this is just a regular audio cable. these wires are thin, they're unshielded, and what happens is because it really is not, it really is an RF signal that's traveling through these wires. And if you get regular wires that are unshielded, the noise is going to be terrible. The image quality, as you see, is going to be terrible. But that is only because of using it on a flat screen TV and using an unshielded cable. You'll find shielded cables on Amazon. They're really not expensive at all. I'm just using up all of the ones I have. So as you can see here, connections are really simple. Power cable that's going to come with it. RCA goes in the only thing that looks like it would fit in an RCA. Mouse. I gotta warn you, the mouse is frustrating to install, but this is where I have the mouse installed. You kind of put it in the worst possible spot. So here's the game. Projectile. It's getting packed in with it. Put it in the floppy. The floppy button here, it feels a little strange when you put it in. I press it from the side, not in the center, and that's because this is not the original floppy drive that came with it, and where the button lines up is not perfect, but absolutely functional, and it's a newer floppy than what came with it, so it should last a long time. So there's a power switch in the back. Turn it on, and as long as your television is on the right channel, the game's going to start up. You'll see the light go on. That's for the floppy. You'll hear the noise. It may be difficult to see, but you have this, it looks a little dark, and that happens on most flat screens. You put that on a CRT, it's not going to look dark at all. You might be able to use something like a FrameMeister to get better image, but look at that snow. So if you see snow like that, you really don't want to put up with that, because the snow is, I can't remember what camera angle I started out with, but the snow is noise, and that comes from using this unshielded cable. So you really should be able to get an image without any snow at all. But you can see the game started up. For some reason, you use your right mouse button to start up that game. It's kind of strange, but there we go. And just for kicks, let's see. Let's turn that off. Below here, there's another joystick port. You could use a joystick that came with an Atari ST, or you can use a Sega Genesis, I believe. I know you can use a regular Atari joystick from the old Atari 2600s, but you know, games that use joystick, you may or may not be able to use the mouse on this. I can't remember. But games that use joysticks, if you don't want to shell out for a rare Atari ST joystick, you can just get a regular Atari joystick. And you see I have the floppy out. You start it up with the floppy out, and that is going to bring you into the operating system. Operating system is on ROM. See, there's no floppy in here. It takes a while to realize there's no floppy in there. I don't know why it takes so long. Amigas know pretty much right away, but you're going to see it try, and eventually it's going to give up, and it's going to go to the operating system that's in the ROM. Toss. Now I have had this opened. The last time I opened it was probably about 3 years ago. I didn't see any issues with caps or dirt inside or anything like that. Should be okay. You might want to open it. I don't think there's any real cap issue, capacitor issues with these. So, but yeah, you can see there's no floppy in here. And what happens is when you try to insert a floppy, some floppies are formatted. So you go into, I believe, the options and you can format a floppy. Some floppies are formatted that TOS can read it, but most booters are not. So you put it in a floppy and you try to open it, it's going to show that nothing's in there. That's completely normal for a booter floppy. So let's try going in. I can't remember which one I wrote as disk 1, but let's see if this is going to work. Like I said, 2 out of 4, maybe even 3 out of 4 of these images are going to have issues. So this is a crack screen. So it looks like it may be working. To start up a game, sometimes it's the mouse button, sometimes it's a space, sometimes it just makes you go through it. That's a cool intro though. Oh, it was enter. Okay, it says this requires 1 meg of memory to run. That doesn't happen too often. I've actually never run into that before. Okay, well, this is not one that's going to run. I'm not sure if there's a way to increase the memory on this or not, because I've never really run into anything that had an issue with the memory, but you can see it wrote to the floppy, yeah, that should be everything you know to run an Atari ST. It has MIDI ports on the side here. I have never attempted to use them, never gotten around to it, but everything should work. All right, enjoy it.